first things first, we're going to get inside and we're going to check, see if our fault's actually there. And as you can see, it's coming up on the dash, front right malfunction, consult workshop. Customer's done the right thing and they have consulted me. So let's get the top door out and see what this malfunction actually is. Okay, we're not going to go for a full scan because we don't need one. We know it's an airbag issue fault. So we're going to go into there, read fault codes, and you can see it's stage 2 and stage 1 and stage 2 squib malfunction, open circuit. So it's already telling us here what the issue is that we have. So what a squib is also called a clock spring. And what it is a series of ribbons sat in behind the steering wheel, because obviously that steering wheel spins like so. And it's got buttons to the steering wheel and to the horn and obviously the airbag. And if they were fixed wires, you twist it around and then end up snapping, or they'd end up tangling and chafing, and it would cause all sorts of problems. So to overcome that, they've got a cartridge looking thing with some ribbons on the inside that will rotate with it. Stops it from binding up, stops it from snapping, stops the wires from chafing. Is there just to transmit power through that movement. Now, if we're going to go off what the codes say, it says that there's a squib for the airbag. So we know it's a fault with the airbag here. Between the airbag and the squib is an open circuit. Now, I think we could probably guess that that is the clock spring itself, because what's the chances of stage 1 and stage 2 wires breaking at the same time in natural conditions? It isn't very high, but obviously we can't charge the customer, I think it was something like £330 plus fitting for a clock spring without knowing for 100%. We need to confirm that fault with them. But I think what we need to do now is hop into our live data and see if we can see any resistance values on this. So we can already see that there's a resistance value of 10 ohms on 1 and 2. The reason that we're seeing 1 and 2 is because this is a 2-stage detonated airbag. So it'll have one which is almost like a half blow, so it'll be a smaller bang and the airbag will fill up slower. That will allow for smaller impacts. So if it's just a small impact, the seatbelt's going to do its job, and your head's going to come forward, it's just going to cushion your head. But then if it's a bigger impact where your whole body's going to shoot forward, then the second stage will ignite and it will protect your head and your body. Also, a lot of vehicles will go, especially off the passenger seat, it will go off of weight on the seat. So it'll have a weight sensor in the seat and it will adjust the amount of force that comes on that airbag depending on the weight of the seat. Because if it's a child and it suspects it's a child, full bang might take the child's head off, whereas the little one will protect them a little bit better. So this is why we're seeing 2. So we're going to be testing essentially 2 circuits today, but it's 1 circuit, if that makes any sense. So we can already see that those 2 circuits have a very high resistance. And as you can see, I've selected the passenger's airbag just because we know there's no fault on that. You can match it to that and you can see that it is quite high. We are looking around between 2 and 2.5 ohms of resistance, and we are on the 10. So something I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the steering wheel and see if the resistance values change at all. And I've got it on a graphed it here. So the camera's going to pick that up. But there doesn't seem to be any change in there. Now that could be that the fault is actually with the airbag and not with the squib, or it could be that the squib has just totally detached. There's not a loose connection in there. Let's check see if this horn works. Yeah, and all the buttons on the side work too. So at the moment we don't actually know what's wrong. I think what we're going to have to do is take the steering wheel off. Right, now to remove this, what we're going to do is get an Allen key, and just down in here, you can't really see it, even with your own eye, there's a little hole. I'm going to stick that key in the little hole and push it out. You can see that there. It's come out now. You can see that there. It's come out now. And there's one on this side. I'm going to do the same. Just pop that steering wheel cover off and push that pin in there. See? Right, so with that airbag out, you can see circuit 1 and circuit 2. So I haven't pulled up a wiring diagram, so does it say on there? Yeah, so it's 1 and 2. So this is stage 1 and this is stage 2. So what we're going to do is disconnect this. This is our horn here as well. There, where that gets earth. I'll show you that in a second. Let's just get these off so we can have a little bit more space. Now with that airbag off, we're still showing 10 ohms of resistance in both those circuits. So that actually hasn't made any difference whatsoever. But what we are able to do now is gain access to these wires and get our decade box up. So that's literally what we're going to do. I'm going to probe in on these wires and see if we can manipulate the resistance in the circuit. So this decade box is going to allow me, I'll just put these in 2 seconds. Now what I'm going to be doing is, obviously this is a circuit and you've got a potential voltage going from one point to the other. And the computer is detecting a 10 ohms resistance in that circuit. So it's something in that circuit that is making it more difficult for the voltage to go through there than it should be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my decade box, which is essentially a box full of resistors, and I'm going to put my own resistance into that circuit and see if it changes it. As you can see, I'm only in on one of the circuits and it hasn't actually changed the level of resistance in the circuit anywhere. I can blast this all the way up and there's nothing. Put it all the way down and I'm still getting nothing. No resistance, too much resistance. This isn't making a difference whatsoever. So now I know that the fault isn't the airbag and it isn't these wires. So it's either the squib itself or some wires further back, which means we're going to have to take the steering wheel itself off. So let's do that. So unplug that wire there. So we're just going to bash a H10 Allen key in there. As you probably noticed, that jumped up with it. There we are. So we can see already that this is a bit of a mess in here. Let's get it out. Check the wires behind it. And there it is. So we do this connect with the back. There's the squib there. Pull that to one side. Now we're going to match up these wires. So we're looking for green and purple and yellow and blue. If you see this here, you can see it's a terminal. So there's just got a pointer. You see our terminals here. And focus, please. Right there. So we can see our terminals here, these little squares. If we come over the top into these holes, let's get one that's actually got one. Into these little holes here, you can see our pin. Wanted to focus. It's coming down the back there, so it's not actually going into the jaws itself. So you're not front probing it, as they would say. You're going into the connector on the top. So you won't stretch open the jaws by doing that. So now we've taken that off. So now we've taken it off. Now we've probed into there. We can see that we've altered the resistance to a couple of ohms here. That will probably will change. He's gone up to 10 now. Get these pins in right. So just bounce in there. There we are. But we can see anyway that we were able to manipulate the resistance on the circuit here. So if I just put this up one there, you see it's gone up on the screen there. I reckon if I put that down, put it there. It's probably too high as well. Let's try getting it to there. That should be fine. So if we go back, we go to our codes, current stored. Let's just clear these. I've already made a report, so don't have a go at me. Clear those codes, read them again, and there's only one there. See, the other one is gone. If I set this up to some stupid ohms with there, go back in, reread them, and it's come back. We can do that on the other one. Let me just change these pins over. Right, I've changed it over, so let's go to clear codes again. Read codes, and one's gone. So we know for a fact that it's the squib or the clock spring now. So we need to put a new one on there. I've actually already been out to diagnose this. I just didn't make a video and I thought I would. So we've already got a genuine Mercedes ones in the van. So actually I could have just said, look, this is the fault, put the new one in. You can see the fault disappeared, but that would have just removed all the fun. So instead, we've tested it, we've confirmed the fault. We know for a surety that that's what it is. So let's put a new one on. So this is actually a brand new, genuine unit from Mercedes. And it comes with a whole new cowling and the stalks as well. So there it is, there's the brand new and clicked in. As I said, it's got new stalks, new cowling, and then it's got a security tab here that you don't remove until it's all secure. And as you can see inside, it has a gummed up and got all minging and greasy like this one, see? So it was quite obvious that that one had filled. Well, it looked like it needed replacing any. So we got this tab out, that literally just snaps out. And then you can see these little markings here, there and there. That's for the steering wheel. See those little arrows? They have to line up with those markings and make sure they're all nice and square. On. Before I go any further with that, I'm going to want to pull up E3 Technical and tighten that down to manufacturer specification. Right, so that steering wheel has now been refitted, well the airbag's now been refitted, steering wheel's been refitted, the airbag's been refitted. You can see we still got the light on the dash. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to go back into live data really quickly and see if I can pick it up. So we've done that. As you can see, it's back to 2.8. Well, so now we've cleared the code. Let's go back in. And there's no code there, and there's no warning on the dash. Just go through the buttons. You see that they're all working. The ones on the side are all working too. Horn, perfect. So there is how you test and replace a clock spring or squib on a Mercedes A180. Thanks for watching, guys.